How's it going, everyone, and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be going over some of the best ways to make gold in New World with the logging trade skill. But first, please consider giving the video a like and subscribing to the channel. It helps out massively. Now, let's get into it. This is going to be a new series in which I'll go through all of the trade skills in New World and show you 3 of my favorite ways to utilize each skill to make gold off of it. I'll try to keep the methods varied and not too basic to keep things interesting, and I will refrain from including any routes in these videos, as even though they can be a good way to make gold, in populated servers, with people constantly targeting high-level resources, it can be annoying going on routes and finding all of them taken before you reach them. But the first skill we're going to be highlighting in this series is a favorite of mine, and that's the logging skill. The 3 methods I chose for this video are ones I've used frequently over the years. So I'll first go over what it is you'll be doing in them, where I like to go to do them, how much I managed to gather in 1 hour at said locations, and the profits you can expect, based on prices in your server. But like with every gold making method, you need to add the disclaimer that prices differ in every server, so make sure you check that the method is profitable in your server before trying it. I'll give you the big ticket items you can expect from each method, along with how much they are currently going for in the fresh start server, Cactus, so you can see how much per hour will be made, and then just change the numbers based on the prices in your server to see how much you can expect from each method. Now, before we get into the methods, let's first go over some tips and tricks you can use to really squeeze every little bit of efficiency out of your runs. I understand some of this stuff can be expensive, especially on new servers, and it's by no means necessary to have everything I mention before doing the methods I'm about to go over, but it's just something that's worth knowing about, that maybe you can slowly put some gold towards as you're doing these methods, if you're enjoying the logging skill, and want to make even more from it in the future. You can also just buy lower tier versions of everything mentioned as well, and still make really good profits out of your grinds. If you already know how to maximize your runs though, feel free to use the timestamps to jump ahead to method number 1. But let's start off with skilling gear. Top tier skilling gear will go a long way when it comes to logging, giving you a massive bonus to logging yield and luck, but probably the biggest benefit of having a set like this is all of the bonus constitution you get from it. If you make a build with this equipment in a gear set, with the right weapons and jewelry, you can have it so whenever you switch over to your logging set, you will have over 400 constitution while wearing it, which not only will give you the amazing bonuses you see on screen, but you'll also get a 25% chance at one-hitting a tree, which is an amazing time saver when grinding out methods. When it comes to the jewelry you choose for your gear set, the only real one of note to look out for is the amulet slot, as you can get an amulet with logging luck on it. For the rest, just get what you can with constitution on it, or amplify. I do like hardy on my rings though, for the extra dodge rolls to get around faster. When it comes to the weapons I like to have in the gear set, mobility weapons are the best, so like fire staff, great axe, or rapier are awesome, so I can use their mobility skills between trees. Then, just make sure they have constitution or magnify as their stat bonus to get you to the constitution cap. After gear, another massive factor in your gold per hour is your skilling tool, so in this case, the logging axe. Having a top tier axe will not only allow you to take down trees a lot faster, but they can stack up some really beneficial perks on them as well. You can make one of these for yourself, or purchase one on the trading post, and I'll show some of the best perks you want to try to get on your axe. I like to always have logging efficiency, yield, and luck on there, plus an alignment perk for the most profitable moat in your server. So go on the trading post, see which of the moats sell for the most, try to get an axe with that one. This is going to add massive amounts of bonus gold onto your runs in the long run, so it's worth splashing a bit of cash to get the right one. As for the final perk, it isn't a massive game changer either way, but I really like having Gathering Alacrity, so I can get that big speed boost to get from tree to tree. But if you can't find an axe at a reasonable price with all of them on it, Azoth extraction isn't bad at all, but you want to make sure you're staying on top of turning your Azoth into extra cash. Whenever you're nearing Azoth cap from all of the gathering you're doing, go trade it in for top tier resources of the highest value in your server. The bonus gold you get from doing this will just about balance out with how much more you'd be making with Gathering Alacrity. But now that we've gone over skilling gear and tools, there's just a couple more little things to know about that'll help you out on your runs. For starters, top tier logging trophies in all 3 of your homes, going out PvP flag for bonus global luck, and music buffs are all great things to remember before heading out on your runs. For music buffs, you have several options based on what will benefit you the most, but I like to go with Fortune's Favor to get the gathering yield increase. Other options include Never Stop Learning to get more XP for your skill, Luck's Labor to get more gathering luck, Song in Your Step to increase inventory space, Decidedly Dexterous to gather faster, or even Territorial Triumph to get bonus territory standing. That's just if you don't mind giving up a bit of gold to gain some more territory ranks on the side. Next up is bags, and because they're probably the most expensive of the lot, I'd say go for these last. But if you can get top tier bags, you'll be able to increase your run times exponentially, mainly due to the larger inventory space, which will allow for longer runs. But also having something like lasting consumption on a couple of bags is great to increase the time of your foods, or town loyalty, to get that bonus territory standing. I'll show on screen some of the better perks to go after, but for sure try to make sure your bag has the extra pockets perk for added weight, and if you mainly do logging, Lumberjack's Burden is really nice to reduce the weight of wood in your inventory. Or, if your tool has the Azoth Attunement perk, you can go for Azoth Attuned to max out your Azoth gains as well. This is an expensive task to get maxed out bags with the perfect perks on them for you, but just get the best ones you can afford, and don't stress out too much about it. because it isn't the biggest of game changers. And finally, there's consumables. You can take proficiency booster potions while out on your runs to get additional resources, or if you have any leftover augments to use from the season pass, you can use them instead. I tend to go for the proficiency booster augment first, for the bonus yield, but gathering XP can help too if you're not max level yet, and even territory standing booster if you wanted to gain some more standing on the side at the cost of a little bit of gold. Do note though that you can't use the proficiency booster potion and augments at the same time, and the potion stands to earn you 5% more resources than the augments. But they do cost you gold, and the augments are given for free, so it's worth deciding which is the best way to go for you. Along with all of those, you can also eat some bear flank and cabbage, trade skill food, for a big chunk of bonus logging luck. This can be eaten alongside the previously mentioned boosters. But now that we've gone over all the ways to maximize your efficiency, let's get started with the methods. To calculate the gold per hour for each method, I did runs using all of the bonuses mentioned above, but with slightly less than bisque bags, and not being PvP flagged, in case any of you don't like PvPing. And all of the prices to calculate the results are based on the Cactus Fresh Start server. Now, let's get to method number 1, and that's high tier tree farming. This method can be done really actively, or more AFK as well, depending on how hard you want to maximize your gold per hour. To stay very active, you may need to dip into a couple of other trade skills as well though. I'll first focus on one of my favorite spots, that'll give you the opportunity to gain tons of weirdwood, ironwood, and runewood, before going into a couple more areas that are more specific for each tier, in case the first area I mention is ever full, or you don't like it. You'll be seeing on screen now the main gold making items you'll be earning from this method, along with the prices they go for in Cactus, so you can confirm if this method will work as well in your server or not. But the initial place we're going to go over is over in the elite stronghold, Eridanus, in Cutlass Keys. Simply teleport into the Shrine of Sisyphus and run on down to it, and there will be a plethora of quality high tree spawns around this stronghold. This area can be a bit tricky with elite level 70 mobs, so you want good gear, and to be able to switch in and out of your logging gear and combat gear easily. But this also plays to your advantage, because there'll be a lot less bots due to the high level mobs you need to keep an eye out for. It's worth putting a camp as close as you can to the area for the first couple of times you try out this method, until you get more used to dealing with the mobs. But eventually, as you learn which mobs you can avoid, which are easy to take out, and how to de-aggro certain ones, you'll be able to run around this area easily, getting into conflict as little as possible, and just keep chopping down the trees as they come up. Now, I like to just focus on the ironwood, runewood, and weirdwood, all within a short distance of each other, in the main structure, along with the 2 silkweeds that are easy to grab without attracting mobs. But if you want to be really hardcore with it, you can even run out of the structure, and around the area collecting the resources while the trees are respawning, making your profits skyrocket. But I like to add some AFK into it when I'm doing these methods, so for the purpose of testing, for this video, when I tested this spot for 1 hour, the results were based on me simply going after the 3 tree spawns and the 2 silkweed spawns as well, and going AFK in between while waiting for the trees to come back up. Now, let's look at the results. For grinding this area, semi-AFK, after an hour, I'd have 1,252 ironwood, 2,104 weirdwood, 2,320 runewood, 848 silk thread, and 314 motes, plus a good chunk of several other rare trade skill items as well. In Cactus, currently, weirdwood goes for 0.65 gold per, ironwood goes for 0.56 per, runewood goes for 0.33 per, silk thread goes for 0.30 per, and the most expensive mote goes for 1.30 gold per. That means for the bulk of the resources, you'd be pulling in 3,496.9 gold per hour. Plus for the rest of the items, I pulled in another 923.8 gold. So in total, that's 4,420.74 gold per hour, with a bit of AFK time in there as well. Overall, I think this is a great spot to come grind, and get a little AFK time in as well, while watching the cash stack grow. Or go ham and skip the AFKing altogether, to make insane profits. But if this spot is too difficult, or it's full, I'll quickly show you 2 spots I like to sit AFK, that you can sit at too, to target a specific kind of wood. I won't show the results of an hour there though, because that'll make the video go on forever. First, for weirdwood and runewood, I like this spot in First Light. Not only are there a good amount of trees for you to gather, but there's some great harvesting resources as well in the area. This spot can be a very profitable spot to sit AFK. And finally, if you want to target more ironwood, this spot in First Light is great to sit AFK. There's a good chunk of spawns, and I find most people spending time in First Light tend to be going towards the PvP zone, and this spot is usually left empty. So, check the prices in your server, see which kind of wood goes for the most, and farm those spots out. Or head on over to the first spot and get a bit of everything, if that's what you prefer. But let's get on to method number 2, and this is a long-time favorite of mine, so you may have heard me mention it before, in the cactus farming method. This will see you farming down tons of cacti in short periods of time, for loads of profit. Now, like with every method, I'll show on screen the main items you will be acquiring during this grind, with how much they are currently going for in Cactus for comparison, so you can know if this will work on your server as well. You can do this method pretty much anywhere in Brimstone Sands, with a ton of cacti spawns, but my favorite spot is up here in Cradle's Rest. Simply teleport into the fast travel point, and just south of it are tons of spawns. Go around here, hopping from cactus to cactus, till your bags are full, then head back to bank, before returning and repeating the process. If you want to really maximize your run times, you can even put the water you're getting from the cacti in a consumable slot in one of your gear sets to save space. For the purpose of this video, I tested this spot out and calculated my returns for 1 hour of grinding, and these were my results. I managed 2,508 cactus flesh, 6,324 water, and 634 motes. Now, if you want to sell this in Cactus, I could get 2.85 gold per cactus, 1 penny per water, and the most profitable mote sells for 1.30 gold per. That would equate to 8,037.8 gold for an hour of grinding. Overall, an amazing return for a very easy, relaxing method that I love to do whenever I need some extra gold. And the final method we're going to be going over in this video is an old favorite of a lot of players that's seen its relevance spike and die down a couple of times, but now it's in a very solid, stable place, and that's banana farming. This is a lot like cactus farming, in which you'll be going out there grinding tons of trees in high volume, but this time, you're mostly hoping for bananas. Like with the previous methods, I'll show you on screen the main items of value you'll be earning in this grind, and their value in Cactus, so you can compare. But make sure to check that bananas have value in your server before starting this method. I like to do this whenever bananas have a value of at least 3 gold per. When it comes to where I do this, anywhere with large banana tree spawns is great, but I like to go just outside of Pridewind Capital in Marnock's Bluff. There's tons of banana trees along the wall, and then down on the beach as well. Simply run down there and keep farming until your heart's content. If you ever clear the trees on the beach, you can climb up the hill and clear the trees around the wall until they respawn, so you don't have any downtime. And, if you're going for really long grind periods, you can slot your bananas into the consumable slot in your gear set to lower your weight for longer run times. But to test this farm out, for the video, I did 1 hour of banana farming, and as a result of that, I managed 1,026 bananas, 22,756 greenwood, 588 motes, and a variety of other mods and woodworking resources as well. In Cactus, I can sell bananas for 3.10 gold per, green wood for 0.06 per, and the most valuable motes for 1.3 gold per. That brings in 5,210.9 gold for those items, and another 837.76 for the rest of the items I got, bringing the grand total to 6,048.66 gold per hour here. Very solid numbers for a very easy, low-level, relaxing method. Plus, bananas often spike in price, so if you do this at the right time, or wait for the perfect time to sell, you can make even more gold from this. Also, charcoal prices are roughly twice as high as greenwood. Converting your greenwood into charcoal, especially if you have a smelter set, can be a great way to get some extra profits, and smelting XP as well, which can in return lead to even more aptitude crates, and therefore even more profit. Keep an eye on those crafting fees though. Now, before we end this video, let me quickly go over a few disclaimers for the previous methods. For starters, with every method, the final gold per hour numbers need to have a few notes along with them. The number is calculated without taking into account the trading post tax, so there's a bit of a profit loss there, and it doesn't account for the proficiency boosting potions and trade skill food costs, so that's roughly another 100 gold off per method. However, it also doesn't account for the added bonuses of aptitude crates, azoth, and skilling level items like abnormal resin. So if you're converting your azoth into materials as you're nearing cap, you'll get more gold from that. Plus, after grinding, when you turn your resin into XP, you'll stack up tons of aptitude crates to go along with the ones you get out here while doing these methods. When opened, you will just continue to stack up even more profits, so those will more than cover for the trade posts and consumable costs. Also, it's worth noting with all methods that it's worth looking into refining your resources instead of just selling them right away raw. It will require a good amount of math based on prices, which will differ from server to server, but it's worth seeing if it's more profitable to sell your resources raw or refine them before you sell them if you want to really maximize profits. I like to just refine no matter what, even if technically you may lose a bit of gold, because the XP you get lead to aptitude crates, which will more than likely make up for the losses in the long run. Plus, I like to see my aptitude level rising. But that covers 3 of my favorite ways to make gold with the logging skill in New World. Have you tried any of these? Or what are some of your favorite ways to make gold with logging? Let me know in the comments below. And if the video was any help, please consider giving the video a like and subscribe to the channel. But until next time, have a good one. Thanks for watching another video, and a massive shout out to all the channel members and patrons seen on screen now. Links on how to become one in the video description below. If you'd like to learn how to make gold by soloing bosses, click on the video to the left. Or, if you'd like to learn more about my overall favorite gold making methods in New World, click on the video to the right.